Horus is a name that echoes through the corridors of ancient history, a beacon of hope and power that shone brightly in the hearts of the ancient Egyptians. Imagine a figure whose story is interwoven with courage, vengeance, and divine right, a figure whose very essence has shaped the destiny of a nation. This is Horus, a deity whose influence transcends the boundaries of time, touching the lives of those who came before us and continuing to captivate the imagination of those who seek to understand his legacy. In the tapestry of Egyptian mythology, Horus stands out not just as a god but as a symbol of triumph over adversity. His story begins in the darkest of times, with the murder of his father, Osiris. In a world where the forces of chaos and order clash in a never-ending struggle, Horus emerges as a beacon of justice and rightful rule. The young Horus, who lost his father before he could even truly know him, is thrust into a world of conflict, where he must battle the usurper Seth to reclaim his father's throne and restore balance to the world. Horus is more than a mere figure of ancient legend. He is the living embodiment of the struggle between good and evil, order and chaos. His story resonates with the human experience of loss, struggle, and ultimate redemption. The ancient Egyptians believed that Horus was not only a protector of the divine order but also a guardian of the living pharaohs, the earthly representatives of the gods. In their eyes, the pharaoh was the Horus of the living, a divine ruler whose power and legitimacy were derived from Horus himself. This divine connection between Horus and the pharaoh made the king not just a political leader but a sacred figure who upheld the laws of the gods. But Horus is not just one deity with one story. He is a multifaceted god with various aspects and forms that reflect different dimensions of his divine nature. One of the most prominent forms of Horus is Horus the Elder, a deity closely associated with the sun and sky. Often depicted as a majestic falcon, Horus the Elder represents the power and authority of the heavens. His presence in the sky was seen as a watchful eye overseeing the land below, ensuring that justice and order prevailed. This aspect of Horus embodies the divine right of kingship and the protective gaze of the gods over their earthly domains. Another significant form of Horus is Horus the Younger, or Horus of the Horizon. This Horus is intimately tied to the mythological struggle against Seth, the god of chaos. As Horus the Younger, he is depicted as a fierce warrior, his eye, known as the Eye of Horus, a powerful symbol of protection and healing. This aspect of Horus represents the enduring struggle between good and evil, a reminder that even in the face of overwhelming odds, there is always hope for justice and restoration. Each form of Horus carries its own story and significance, reflecting the diverse ways in which this powerful deity was revered and understood by the ancient Egyptians. From the sunlit skies to the horizon where day meets night, Horus's presence was felt in every corner of Egyptian life, his influence spanning both the divine and the mortal realms. The significance of Horus in ancient Egyptian religion cannot be overstated. To the Egyptians, Horus was not just a figure of mythology but a vital force that influenced their daily lives and their understanding of the world. He was the divine protector, the avenger of injustice, and the embodiment of rightful kingship. His role was central to the maintenance of Ma'at, the ancient Egyptian concept of truth, balance, and cosmic order. Through his various forms and stories, Horus served as a reminder of the divine order that governed the universe and the importance of upholding that order in the face of chaos. In every story and representation, Horus evokes a profound sense of hope and resilience. His journey from a vulnerable child to a powerful avenger mirrors the human experience of overcoming adversity and reclaiming what is rightfully ours. The ancient Egyptians saw in Horus not just a deity but a guiding light, a symbol of divine justice that transcended the mortal world. His legacy, etched in the annals of history, continues to inspire and resonate, a testament to the enduring power of myth and the timeless struggle for righteousness and order. In the heart of ancient Egypt, a story of immense power and deep emotion began with a struggle between love and betrayal, darkness and light. The tale of Horus's conception and birth is not just a myth, but a profound narrative of hope and resilience. It starts with a scene of sorrow and loss. Osiris, the god of the underworld and king of Egypt, was betrayed by his own brother, Seth. Seth's treachery led to Osiris's death, leaving the world in turmoil and his beloved wife, Isis, in despair. Isis, however, was not ready to surrender to grief. Her love for Osiris was fierce and unwavering. With determination and courage, she embarked on a journey to find her husband's body and bring him back to life. Her quest was not in vain. Using her magic, Isis managed to revive Osiris, but he was not to return to the world of the living. Instead, Osiris became the ruler of the underworld, while the fate of their unborn child, Horus, remained a beacon of hope for the future. Isis's strength and dedication ensured that their son would be born under extraordinary circumstances. As she carried Horus, Isis's story was one of both vulnerability and strength. The pregnancy was fraught with danger, as Seth, now the god of chaos, sought to thwart the birth of Horus and seize control of Egypt for himself. To protect her unborn child, Isis fled across the Nile and into the marshes, seeking refuge in the sanctuary of nature. The wild, untamed lands became her haven, where she could shield Horus from Seth's wrath. The conditions of Horus's birth were as extraordinary as the child himself. Born in secret, in a place hidden from the eyes of those who sought to harm him, Horus's arrival was marked by a profound sense of destiny. His birth was not merely the beginning of a new life, but the start of a new chapter in the struggle between order and chaos. Isis, with the help of the goddess Hathor, cared for her infant son with a love that was as fierce as it was tender. In those early days, Horus was not just a child but a symbol of hope, a living reminder of the promise of restoration and justice. Even as a baby, Horus's story was intertwined with the fate of Egypt. The young Horus was protected and nurtured by his mother, who knew that her son would one day play a crucial role in avenging his father and reclaiming the rightful order. The myths tell of how Horus, even in his infancy, was a beacon of divine light in the midst of darkness. His cries were said to be like the roar of a lion, symbolizing his future power and the strength that would be required to face the challenges ahead. As Horus grew, his early life was marked by trials and tests. He was not just a child of Osiris and Isis, but the heir to a legacy that carried the weight of a kingdom's future. His destiny was to rise above the chaos that had been unleashed by Seth and to restore the balance that had been lost. The strength and bravery of his parents were reflected in him, and he was raised with the knowledge that he was destined to be a force for justice and renewal. The myth of Horus's conception and birth is a testament to the power of love and resilience. From the moment he was conceived, Horus's life was bound to a story of overcoming darkness and restoring light. His mother's unwavering commitment to his safety and his father's enduring presence in the underworld set the stage for Horus to become the powerful and revered deity that he was destined to be. The tale of Horus's early years is not just a story of a god but a reflection of the enduring human spirit that rises against adversity, a story that continues to inspire and touch hearts even today. In the shadowed landscape of ancient Egypt, a tale of fierce vengeance and unyielding justice unfolded, a story that would forever mark the struggle between light and darkness. This is the story of Horus, the Avenger, whose quest to reclaim his father's throne became a symbol of hope and resilience. The conflict began with Seth, the god of chaos, who had murdered Horus's father, Osiris, and usurped his throne. Seth's reign was a time of disorder and fear, and the world seemed to be teetering on the edge of oblivion. But amidst this chaos, a new hope emerged: Horus, the son of Osiris, destined to restore balance and bring justice to the land. From the moment he was born, Horus was marked by his father's legacy and the weight of his mother's dreams for him. His early years were not just a time of growth, but a preparation for the immense battle that lay ahead. As he came of age, Horus was no longer just a child but a powerful warrior, ready to face Seth and reclaim what was rightfully his. The struggle between Horus and Seth was not just a clash of gods, but a monumental confrontation that mirrored the eternal battle between order and chaos. Horus's first significant battle was against Seth, a fight that was as much about proving his rightful claim as it was about vengeance. The battles were fierce and relentless. Each encounter was marked by its own set of trials and tribulations, as Horus fought to assert his dominance and bring justice to the world. One of the most gripping tales from this struggle involves a series of confrontations known as the contendings of Horus and Seth. These battles were not only physical but also symbolic, representing the clash between the forces of good and evil. In one legendary confrontation, Horus and Seth battled on the Nile, a struggle that saw Horus wielding his power and skill with unmatched bravery. The fight was intense, with the gods using their divine powers in a contest that seemed to shake the very foundations of the world. In another notable battle, Horus and Seth faced off in a contest of shapeshifting and wits. Seth, known for his cunning and deceit, transformed into a variety of fearsome creatures, while Horus matched him blow for blow with his own divine prowess. The struggle was not just about brute strength, but also about strategy and intelligence. Every clash was a testament to Horus's determination and his unwavering commitment to avenging his father. The significance of Horus's role in avenging Osiris went beyond personal revenge. His victory was crucial in restoring order to Egypt and ensuring that justice prevailed. By defeating Seth, Horus was not only reclaiming his father's throne, but also reinstating the divine order that Seth had disrupted. This battle symbolized the triumph of good over evil and the return of harmony to the land. The Egyptians saw Horus's victory as a divine affirmation of rightful rule and justice, a reassurance that even in the darkest times, light and order could prevail. The final confrontation between Horus and Seth was a climactic moment in this epic struggle. It was not just a battle, but a culmination of all the trials and hardships that Horus had faced. This decisive fight saw Horus using every ounce of his strength and wisdom to finally subdue Seth. The defeat of Seth marked the end of a turbulent era and the beginning of a new age of prosperity and peace under Horus's rule. Horus's struggle against Seth is more than just a myth, it is a powerful story of resilience and hope. It reminds us that even in the face of overwhelming adversity, there is always a chance for justice and redemption. Horus's journey from a young Avenger to a revered deity reflects the human spirit's capacity to rise above challenges and restore balance to a world in turmoil. Through his battles, Horus became not just a symbol of divine power but a beacon of hope and justice, his legacy enduring as a testament to the strength of the human spirit. In the heart of ancient Egypt, where gods and kings were intertwined, Horus stood as a living symbol of rightful rule and divine authority. His story was not merely one of myth, but a profound representation of what it meant to be a legitimate ruler. Horus was more than just a deity, he was the embodiment of the divine right of kings. His legacy was intricately woven into the fabric of Egyptian kingship, serving as a powerful symbol of legitimate authority. The ancient Egyptians believed that the pharaohs were not just earthly rulers, but the earthly embodiments of Horus himself. To be crowned as pharaoh was to assume the divine mantle of Horus, connecting the ruler to the gods and ensuring that his reign was sanctioned by the heavens. This connection between Horus and the pharaohs was not a mere formality but a deeply ingrained belief that shaped the very essence of kingship. The pharaoh, as Horus of the living, was seen as the protector and steward of Egypt, entrusted with the sacred duty of maintaining order and justice, just as Horus had fought to restore balance after the chaos brought by Seth. The pharaoh's authority was viewed as divinely ordained, a reflection of Horus's own power and legitimacy. The rituals and ceremonies involving Horus were central to reinforcing this divine connection. During the coronation of a new pharaoh, elaborate ceremonies were performed to mark the moment when the ruler was symbolically united with Horus. These rituals were not merely symbolic but served to invoke the divine presence of Horus, ensuring that the new ruler was imbued with the god's authority and power. The pharaoh would be presented with the crown, a symbol of Horus's own regalia, and perform sacred rites that underscored his role as the living embodiment of the god. One of the most profound rituals was the Horus and Seth contending's reenactment, which symbolized the pharaoh's role in continuing Horus's legacy of maintaining order and justice. During these ceremonies, the pharaoh would act out scenes of Horus's battles against Seth, demonstrating his own strength and commitment to preserving the divine order. These reenactments were more than just performances, they were a way of linking the pharaoh's rule to the ancient struggles of Horus, affirming the ruler's divine right to govern. In addition to these grand ceremonies, everyday life in ancient Egypt was also infused with the presence of Horus. Temples dedicated to Horus were not just places of worship but centers of political and religious life. Priests of Horus played a crucial role in maintaining the divine connection between the god and the pharaoh. They conducted rituals and offerings to ensure that Horus's favor remained with the ruler and the land. The daily offerings and prayers were a way of keeping the divine protection of Horus close, ensuring that the pharaoh's reign was blessed and secure. The significance of Horus in the context of divine kingship went beyond ritual and ceremony. His image was a constant reminder of the pharaoh's divine role and the sacred responsibility that came with it. Horus's falcon-headed figure, often depicted soaring above the land, symbolized the god's protective gaze over Egypt and the ruler's duty to uphold justice and order. The pharaoh was seen as the earthly steward of this divine protection, a sacred trust that was both an honor and a burden. Horus's association with the pharaohs was not just about power, but about the continuity of divine order. The god's role as a symbol of legitimate rule ensured that the pharaoh's reign was not just a temporal affair, but a continuation of a divine mission. Each pharaoh, by embracing the mantle of Horus, became a living link between the gods and the people, charged with the sacred task of guiding Egypt with wisdom and justice. In every aspect of Egyptian life, from grand coronations to daily rituals, Horus's influence was felt deeply. His legacy as a symbol of legitimate rule was a guiding force that shaped the very essence of kingship. The ceremonies and rituals involving Horus were not merely traditional practices, but profound expressions of the divine connection that bound the pharaohs to the gods. Through these sacred acts, Horus's spirit continued to watch over Egypt, ensuring that the divine order he fought to restore remained steadfast and unshaken. In the ancient heart of Egypt, where gods walked among men and every horizon held a story, Horus emerged in various forms, each carrying its own profound meaning and significance. These forms of Horus were not just different aspects of a deity but reflections of the divine power that shaped the destiny of Egypt. One of the most cherished aspects was Horus the Younger, also known as Horus of the Horizon. As a child, Horus the Younger symbolized the dawn and the promise of renewal. His presence was linked to the rising sun, heralding the start of a new day. This Horus was a beacon of hope and vitality, embodying the eternal cycle of rebirth and the assurance of new beginnings. To the people of Egypt, he was a symbol of the ever-present opportunity to start anew, to rise from the darkness of the night into the light of a new day. His story was deeply intertwined with the rhythm of the sun and the assurance that, no matter how dark the night, the light of dawn would always return. In contrast, Horus the Elder, or Horus of Edfu, represented a different facet of this powerful deity. This Horus was revered as the protector of Egypt and the embodiment of divine kingship. The magnificent temple of Edfu, dedicated to Horus, stood as a testament to his importance. Here, Horus the Elder was celebrated as the god who triumphed over chaos and restored order. His story spoke of battles fought and won, of divine justice delivered. In the grandeur of Edfu, Horus the Elder was not just a figure of worship, but a living symbol of the strength and resilience that were central to the pharaoh's role. He was seen as a guardian who stood watch over Egypt, ensuring that the land remained protected and prosperous. Horus's depiction as a falcon deity further amplified his profound symbolism. The image of Horus with the head of a falcon was not merely a divine representation, but a powerful symbol of vision and authority. The falcon, soaring high above the land, represented clarity and perspective. To see through the eyes of a falcon was to possess the ability to oversee and protect the entire realm. This imagery was deeply significant to the ancient Egyptians. It spoke of a god who could see beyond the immediate and safeguard the land from any harm. The falcon symbolism also underscored Horus's role as a fierce protector and avenger. His sharp, vigilant eyes were believed to have the power to ward off evil and ensure the safety of Egypt. This powerful image reinforced the idea that Horus was not just a distant deity but an ever-watchful guardian, actively engaged in the protection of his people. In every aspect of Horus, whether as the youthful Horus of the Horizon or the mighty Horus of Edfu, there was a profound sense of connection to the cycles of life and the divine order. Each form of Horus carried its own story, its own energy, and its own role in the grand tapestry of Egyptian mythology. The falcon-headed deity, with his keen vision and unwavering strength, was a constant reminder of the divine oversight and protection that kept the world in balance. The diverse aspects of Horus reveal a deity whose influence touched every corner of ancient Egyptian life. From the promise of a new dawn with Horus the Younger to the protective might of Horus the Elder and the soaring vision of the falcon god, Horus embodied the enduring spirit of hope, strength, and divine justice. His presence was a source of inspiration and reassurance, a reminder that through every trial and challenge, the power of the divine was always at work, guiding and protecting. In the vast tapestry of ancient Egypt, where every symbol held deep meaning, Horus stood out as a beacon of divine power and protection. His symbols were not just artistic expressions, but powerful emblems of his profound influence on the world. Among these, the Eye of Horus, his depiction in art and architecture, and the symbolism of the falcon and the crown revealed a divine narrative that resonated through the ages. The Eye of Horus, known as Wedjet, was one of the most powerful symbols in ancient Egypt. This ancient emblem, often depicted as an eye with distinctive markings, was more than just a protective charm. It represented the watchful eye of Horus, always vigilant and ever-present, safeguarding the land and its people. The story behind this symbol was both poignant and powerful. It was said that Horus lost his eye during his fierce battle with Seth. Yet, in a divine act of healing, the eye was restored, symbolizing both the god's resilience and the power of regeneration. The Eye of Horus became a symbol of protection and healing. It was worn as an amulet by the ancient Egyptians, believed to bring safety and health to those who carried it. The symbol was also used in rituals and on tombs to ensure the deceased would be protected in the afterlife. This eye was a reminder of Horus's undying vigilance and his role as a guardian who never faltered, reflecting his eternal watchfulness over the living and the dead. Horus's depiction in art and architecture was equally striking, capturing his divine essence in forms that were both majestic and awe-inspiring. In temples and monuments across Egypt, Horus was often shown as a powerful falcon or as a man with a falcon head. These representations were not merely artistic choices but reflections of his divine nature. The falcon, soaring high above, symbolized clarity of vision and divine oversight. In the grandeur of temple walls and statues, Horus was portrayed with strength and nobility, embodying the ideals of kingship and protection that were central to his role. The most famous of these depictions is the colossal statue of Horus at Edfu, where he stands as a towering figure, his gaze fierce and protective. This statue, along with countless other artworks, celebrated Horus not just as a deity but as a symbol of divine authority and justice. Each image of Horus was a declaration of his power and his unwavering commitment to maintaining order and safeguarding Egypt. The symbolism of the falcon and the crown further underscored Horus's divine stature. The falcon, with its sharp eyes and powerful wings, represented Horus's role as a guardian and protector. It was a symbol of his ability to see and oversee the entire realm, ensuring that no threat went unnoticed. The falcon's flight also symbolized Horus's connection to the sky and the divine, bridging the gap between the heavens and the earth. The crown worn by Horus, often depicted in his iconography, was a powerful symbol of his authority and divine right. This crown, sometimes shown as a combination of the red crown of Lower Egypt and the white crown of Upper Egypt, symbolized the unification of the two lands under Horus's rule. It represented not only his power but also the harmony and balance he brought to the land. To wear the crown of Horus was to assume the mantle of divine kingship, linking the ruler to the god's sacred authority. Together, these symbols painted a vivid picture of Horus's divine role. The Eye of Horus was a promise of protection and healing, his depictions in art and architecture were testaments to his power and majesty, and the falcon and crown symbolized his rightful rule and oversight. Each element of Horus's iconography told a part of his story, weaving together a narrative of divine strength, vigilance, and justice. In the ancient scripts of Egypt, Horus's presence was both powerful and profound. His stories were not just tales, but living myths that shaped the very essence of Egyptian spirituality and governance. These myths were etched into sacred texts, revealing his central role in the cosmic drama and his divine relationship with other gods. One of the most vivid stories about Horus is the tale of his fierce battle against Seth, which captured the imagination of the ancient Egyptians and was detailed in numerous texts. This struggle was more than a conflict. it was a cosmic showdown that determined the fate of the world. Seth, the god of chaos and disorder, had murdered Horus's father, Osiris, plunging the world into darkness and disarray. Horus's quest for vengeance was not just personal but symbolic of the eternal struggle between order and chaos. His battles against Seth, depicted in the pyramid texts, were filled with drama and divine intervention. These texts recount how Horus fought valiantly, using his strength and divine will to restore balance and order to the cosmos. In the pyramid texts, Horus's role is highlighted as a protector and avenger. These ancient writings, inscribed on the walls of royal tombs, depict Horus as a powerful deity who ensures the safety of the deceased pharaoh in the afterlife. The texts often describe Horus as a guiding force who helps the pharaoh ascend to the divine realm, reflecting his role as both a guardian in life and a protector in death. The pyramid texts emphasize Horus's connection to the ruling pharaoh, reinforcing his status as the divine embodiment of kingship and his role in safeguarding the pharaoh's journey to the afterlife. The coffin texts, another significant collection of spells and inscriptions, further explore Horus's divine functions. These texts, found in the coffins of the Middle Kingdom period, highlight Horus's protective qualities. They depict him as a guardian who watches over the deceased, ensuring their safe passage and protection from malevolent forces. The coffin texts often include prayers and incantations invoking Horus's power, underscoring his role as a deity who bridges the earthly and divine realms. In these texts, Horus's image is not just a symbol but an active force that influences the journey of the soul, reflecting his enduring presence in the spiritual lives of the ancient Egyptians. Comparing Horus to other deities in Egyptian mythology reveals the unique aspects of his character. While gods like Osiris and Ra held vital roles, Horus's significance was especially tied to the theme of rightful rule and protection. Unlike Osiris, who was associated with the afterlife and resurrection, or Ra, who symbolized the sun and creation, Horus was intricately connected with the concept of divine kingship and the protection of the living and the dead. His story of vengeance and restoration against Seth placed him at the heart of the cosmic struggle, making him a central figure in maintaining order and justice. Horus's role can also be compared to the Greek god Apollo, who, like Horus, was associated with both divine protection and the restoration of order. However, while Apollo's myths often emphasize prophecy and healing, Horus's stories are more deeply embedded in the political and cosmic balance of ancient Egypt. The tales of Horus's battles against Seth echo through time, illustrating the universal themes of conflict and resolution that transcend cultures. In every text where Horus appears, whether in the pyramid texts or the coffin texts, his role as a divine protector and avenger shines through. His battles with Seth and his guardianship of the pharaoh's afterlife were not just stories but essential aspects of ancient Egyptian belief and governance. These texts reveal how deeply Horus was woven into the spiritual and political fabric of Egypt, serving as a powerful symbol of divine authority, protection, and the eternal struggle between order and chaos. In the heart of ancient Egypt, where gods were revered with unwavering devotion, the worship of Horus was both a grand spectacle and a profound spiritual experience. Temples dedicated to him were not just places of worship but monumental expressions of the divine presence that Horus represented. Among these, the Temple of Edfu stands as a testament to his revered status. The Temple of Edfu, dedicated to Horus, rises majestically against the Egyptian skyline. This grand structure, one of the best preserved temples from ancient Egypt, was built during the Ptolemaic period and remains a powerful symbol of Horus's enduring influence. As you approach the temple, its towering pylons and intricately carved walls tell stories of Horus's battles and triumphs. The temple was not merely a place of worship but a living monument to Horus's divine authority and protection. Pilgrims and priests walked its sacred halls, their steps echoing through time as they offered prayers and sacrifices to the god they believed watched over them. Festivals dedicated to Horus were vibrant and filled with life, reflecting the deep reverence the ancient Egyptians had for their god. One of the most significant festivals was the Festival of the Victory of Horus, celebrated with great pomp and ceremony. This festival commemorated Horus's triumph over Seth, a victory that restored order and balance to the world. During the festival, the streets of Edfu would come alive with processions, music, and dance. Priests dressed in elaborate costumes performed rituals that reenacted the divine battles and victories of Horus. The festival was a time of joy and thanksgiving, a moment when the community came together to celebrate the protective power of their god and to seek his blessings for the year ahead. In these festivals, the role of Horus's priests and worshippers was crucial. The priests, adorned in ceremonial garb, were the conduits between the divine and the mortal. They carried out elaborate rituals, offering sacrifices and performing sacred chants that were believed to keep Horus's favor. These rituals were not just acts of devotion but were seen as essential for maintaining cosmic order and ensuring the well-being of the community. The priests lived in close communion with the divine, their lives dedicated to upholding the sacred traditions and rituals that honored Horus. Worshippers, too, played a vital role in the life of Horus's temples. They came from all walks of life, drawn by their devotion and the promise of divine protection. Offerings of food, incense, and precious items were placed at the feet of Horus's statues, each gift a testament to the worshipper's faith. The act of giving was a powerful way to connect with the divine, a gesture that sought to ensure Horus's continued favor and protection. In return, Horus was believed to watch over his followers, guiding them through the trials of life and ensuring their safety. The temples and festivals dedicated to Horus were more than just religious practices, they were expressions of a profound connection between the divine and the earthly. Each ritual, each festival, and each offering was a way for the ancient Egyptians to engage with the god they believed shaped their world. In these sacred spaces, the spirit of Horus was ever present, a guardian and protector whose divine influence was felt in every aspect of their lives. As you stand in the shadow of the Temple of Edfu, surrounded by the echoes of ancient prayers and the intricate carvings that tell the story of Horus, you feel the weight of history and the depth of devotion that has flowed through these hallowed halls. The worship of Horus was not merely about reverence, but about maintaining a living connection with a god who was seen as both a protector and a symbol of divine order. In every festival, every ritual, and every act of devotion, the ancient Egyptians sought to honor Horus and to ensure that his divine presence remained a guiding light in their lives. In the heart of ancient Egyptian society, Horus was more than a deity, he was a living force that shaped the very fabric of daily life and governance. His presence was woven into the laws, customs, and cultural expressions of a civilization that revered him as a symbol of divine order and justice. Horus's influence on Egyptian law and governance was profound. As the embodiment of rightful rule and divine authority, Horus was intimately connected with the concept of kingship. Pharaohs were considered the earthly representatives of Horus, their legitimacy to rule tied directly to their divine association with him. The laws and decrees of ancient Egypt were seen as reflections of Horus's will, reinforcing the belief that the pharaoh, as Horus's earthly counterpart, was the steward of justice and order. This divine connection meant that the pharaoh's actions were imbued with sacred significance, with every decision and judgment echoing the principles of Horus's divine authority. The image of Horus, often depicted as a falcon or with a falcon head, symbolized the watchful eye of divine justice overseeing the land, ensuring that the pharaoh's rule was both fair and divinely sanctioned. In everyday life, Horus's presence was felt in numerous ways. His image appeared in homes, on amulets, and in various forms of art. Families kept small statues and carvings of Horus to invoke his protection and blessings. These depictions of Horus were not merely decorative but served as constant reminders of his protective power. The falcon-headed god, soaring high above the earthly realm, was seen as a guardian watching over the lives of ordinary people, ensuring their safety and well-being. Whether in the form of jewelry, household items, or temple art, Horus's imagery was a powerful symbol of hope and divine oversight, offering comfort and a sense of security to the people. Popular culture in ancient Egypt was richly infused with references to Horus. His stories and symbols were celebrated in festivals, plays, and public ceremonies. The tales of Horus's battles against Seth, his role as a protector of the pharaoh, and his divine justice were themes explored in various artistic expressions. The stories of Horus were recited and depicted in vibrant murals and carvings, capturing the imagination and devotion of the people. These cultural expressions not only honored Horus but also reinforced his role as a central figure in the moral and spiritual life of Egypt. The dramatization of his myths in public festivals and rituals provided a way for the community to connect with their deity, celebrating his victories and seeking his blessings. As centuries passed, the legacy of Horus continued to influence Egyptian culture and beyond. Even after the decline of ancient Egyptian civilization, Horus's image persisted in various forms. His role as a symbol of divine kingship and justice influenced later cultures and religions. In the Greco-Roman period, Horus was often syncretized with other deities, his attributes and stories blending into new religious contexts. His legacy endured through the reinterpretation of his myths and symbols, which continued to be revered and adapted by later generations. The influence of Horus's divine authority and protective power did not vanish with the fall of ancient Egyptian civilization. His legacy lived on in the cultural and spiritual consciousness of later societies, who saw in him a powerful symbol of divine justice and rightful rule. The enduring images and stories of Horus remind us of a time when the divine and the earthly were intimately connected, and when a god's influence extended from the highest echelons of governance to the everyday lives of the people. In the tapestry of human history, where the threads of mythology and belief intertwine, Horus stands out as a figure whose influence stretches far beyond the boundaries of ancient Egypt. His legacy has reached into diverse mythologies and modern cultures, his story evolving yet remaining deeply impactful. Horus's presence has touched the lives of many throughout the ages. In later mythologies and religions, elements of his story and symbolism have been woven into the fabric of various belief systems. As Egypt's influence spread, so did Horus's legacy. His fierce battle against the forces of chaos, embodied by Seth, resonated with the themes of divine struggle and cosmic order found in other cultures. The symbol of Horus's eye, a powerful emblem of protection and healing, found its way into different traditions, embodying the universal human desire for safeguarding and justice. This cross-cultural transmission allowed Horus's attributes to influence the shaping of divine narratives and religious practices far beyond the Nile. In contemporary times, Horus's influence has not waned but rather evolved and adapted to modern sensibilities. Literature and media have embraced his story, reimagining him in new and compelling ways. Books, films, and television shows have drawn on his myth, often depicting him as a heroic figure engaged in epic struggles against dark forces. These modern interpretations breathe new life into the ancient tales, presenting Horus not just as a figure of the past, but as a symbol of timeless heroism and justice. In these stories, Horus's battles and triumphs resonate with contemporary audiences, reflecting ongoing themes of struggle and redemption. His image has appeared in fantasy and adventure genres, showing how the ancient god's attributes continue to captivate and inspire. The enduring significance of Horus in modern times speaks to the deep, universal themes that his story embodies. The struggle between order and chaos, the quest for justice, and the idea of divine protection are as relevant today as they were in ancient Egypt. Horus's legacy serves as a reminder of the power of myth to reflect human hopes and fears, to offer guidance and comfort. Whether in ancient temples or modern media, Horus's story continues to touch hearts, his powerful symbolism offering a connection to a distant past while remaining firmly rooted in the present. In every retelling, every new depiction, Horus's essence remains unchanged. His legacy lives on through the stories that celebrate his bravery, justice, and the divine right to rule. The ancient god, with his fierce gaze and unwavering spirit, continues to be a beacon of hope and a symbol of enduring strength.